Today on RVA Grooves, we'll visit the Virginia Museum of Fine Art's Tom Wesselmann POP Art exhibit. We'll also experience Amuse restaurant's pop art-inspired cocktails and desserts. We'll then travel to Carytown to visit with the talented ink master Jesse Smith to discuss his hugely successful business, Loose Screw Tattoo. RVA Grooves starts right now. Today, I have the amazing opportunity to be inside the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, where the U.S. premiere of Tom Wesselmann's POP Art exhibit is displayed. I'm going to go upstairs and talk to the director of the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts and also go to Amuse restaurant, where I'll be tasting specialty drinks and dessert inspired by the POP Art exhibit. Let's go check it out. Now we're upstairs in the administrative offices, and I am talking to Alex Nargis. He is the director of VMFA. Alex, thank you for taking the opportunity to talk to RVA Grooves.
My pleasure.
Our show is all about art and culture. Can you tell us how you got involved with the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts?
I got lost and ended up in heaven. So, no, I was recruited to come to Richmond, Virginia, which really was like dying and going to heaven without having to die.
Yes. And so, how long have you been here, and what is your primary role here?
Well, I've been here almost 7 years, which is hard to believe because it seems like yesterday. And my role as the director and CEO is to try to keep the trains running on time, make sure we're moving forward and having progress. And of course, it's really about the big picture, the future, and how we're going to get there.
Mm-hmm. The museum is very important, not only to the city of Richmond, but the state of Virginia. So there's some regional exposure. Can you talk about how that is benefiting and especially bringing tourism to the city?
Oh, absolutely. The best example is Picasso. We brought Picasso from the Musée Picasso in Paris. It brought nearly 250,000 visitors to the museum. It had a $30 million impact on the Richmond and Virginia economy. So stop and think about how many jobs we create, how many tax dollars are being put into the coffers to then come back around and make our community that much better.
The community has embraced the museum, of course, but there are still people that have not been here yet. How do you reach that population?
We reach them one by one and then in large groups, and there is no single way. So we do several things. First of all, it's about being open 365 days a year, which no other art museum is. It's also about offering free general admission every day so that people have no barriers to come to the museum. That's first and foremost. Then, of course, you layer on top of that an exciting program of exhibitions, a great permanent collection. We have a great restaurant with Amuse. We have the best cafe. Then you add on all the programming. Jazz on Thursday nights, every Thursday night, and the house is packed. We have Friday nights, our music. We have family days throughout the year. So you put all of that together, plus lots of educational programs, our studio programs, our K through 12, our pre-K programs. And if that's not enough, then all of the things we do everywhere in Virginia, every day, all across the state.
Wow, that's very interesting to know. It just seems to me that everybody needs to experience this, and I'm glad that you said one person at a time. You spoke about the exhibits. Right now, the Pop Art exhibit is downstairs. Talk about its growth and exposure.
Well, we actually have a great history with pop art, thanks to Sidney and Francis Lewis, among our great patron saints. They collected pop art before pop art was pop. Yeah. In fact, it was unknown. People like Andy Warhol and Tom Wesselmann. The second work of art the Lewises collected in the early 1960s was from Tom Wesselmann. And so they amassed this great collection, gave it to the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts a number of years ago. In fact, we opened that wing in 1985. We were pioneers when others weren't doing it. This is the first North American retrospective of Tom Wesselmann, who is the greatest unknown star of pop art. Everybody knows Andy Warhol, but Wesselmann was a better artist.
Okay, see, and I'm getting an educational piece too.
Right.
You did talk about the education in terms of K-12. Any collaborations with any of the colleges and universities, since we do have one of the big ones right here in town?
Well, we have, of course, VCU with the great School of the Arts, and of course now they're developing the Contemporary Arts Center. And we have lots of other schools. Virginia Union is here. We've got University of Richmond, the community colleges. There are hundreds of thousands of students at that college level and above that are fair game. Now, like other things, we also go out on the cutting edge. We have a $10 student membership like no other art museum in America. For $10, you get into all the exhibitions for free. You get discounts in the shop, discounts in the restaurant, the cafe, and you get invited to everything. The cheapest date college students ever going to have.
It sounds amazing. Last question for you, and I don't know if this is something that you can answer because I feel like it's always evolving, but where do you see the museum going? Where's the future of art? What's the next level?
Well, you know, we actually think about that a lot. Okay. We spend a lot of time thinking about, in fact, at the moment, we're working on our 2020 plan. The plan to get us to 2020, which is, 6.5 years away. But how do we get there? What do we look like when we're done? And part of it is how we serve the entire state of Virginia better. Part of it is what do we collect? What are the programs? But going back to something you said earlier, there are a lot of people who still don't come here. A lot of people that this isn't part of their life. In fact, so many of those people, we know if we were in their life, we could change their life in a substantial way by adding beauty and things of culture from across the globe. And you look at who we are, our collection spans the entire globe, the last 5,000 years. And there is something here for everybody. And to be able to then relate and have it relevant to who you are and where you're from, and all of that ends up being the most important place for people to go in Richmond, Virginia.
One of the things that you emphasize is that the museum is open 365 days a year. How do people get in contact with you, hours of operation, website, things of that nature?
Well, they can call 804-340-1400. That's our main number, and it takes you wherever you need to go. Or the website is VMFA, for the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, vmfa.museum, MUSEUM, all spelled out.
Right, and the hours of operation?
We're open every day from 10 in the morning till 5, and then on Thursdays and Friday evenings, we're open till 9 p.m.
All right, well, I'm going to go downstairs and get to finally check out this wonderful exhibit. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
All right. RVA Grooves. We'll be right back.
Experience Jazz, America's original art form at the 4th Annual Richmond Jazz Festival at Maymont, presented by Altria August 8th through the 11th. You don't want to miss Jill Scott, Michael McDonald, The Wailers, Joe Sample, Kirk Whalum, and others. The Richmond Jazz Festival presented by Altria, brought to you in part by Virginia is for Lovers, Dominion, Midwest Vaco, Richmond Region Tourism, Richmond BMW, and NBC 12. Visit jazz@maymont.com today.
Now we're upstairs at the beautiful Virginia Museum of Fine Arts restaurant Amuse with the manager. His name is Michael Smith. Michael, thank you for taking the opportunity to talk to RVA Grooves.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We're very excited.
What we're going to do now, Michael, is I'm going to get to taste some drinks. We're going to have desserts as well, but the drinks that are inspired by the pop art collection that we've seen downstairs. So talk us through these drinks, Michael.
Absolutely. It took us about 2 months to really manicure our cocktail list. We've come up with 18 different drinks. All of them, in one way, shape, or form, are inspired by the pop art show. If you've seen the show, you already know that there's naked women, nudes, and a lot of kitschy pop objects from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. Those were our inspirations. So I'm going to show you 4 different drinks here that are good for any occasion, but especially good in conjunction with the pop art show.
All right, let's get to the first one.
Okay. Our first one is a nice brunch beverage, and this one's real easy to do, but you're gonna love it. It's called the Tommy's Bacon Bloody. It's a Bloody Mary that we've kicked up a bit. We use pepperoncini juice, garlic, shallots, bacon, Worcestershire. It's beautiful, and it's good for brunch. Let me know.
You said bacon. That's all I needed.
Bacon's better in everything.
And as you're putting ingredients in, and I know that, people always like to know what's going on, kind of say exactly what you're putting in.
Absolutely. Well, this one is probably the only one I'm not going to really be able to do that because our bloody mix is a secret recipe.
Okay.
But like I said, garlic, shallots, that gives it a lot of flavor. Worcestershire, lots of hot sauce. A little bit of absolute vodka. For those who don't drink, we can make this one virgin. We're a lunch restaurant, so a lot of people don't drink during lunch. I do.
And this is the special ingredient.
This is our bloody mix. Okay. So just a nice little glug of that. Do you like a Bloody Mary?
I do. On a Sunday, ooh.
Now the garnish is what's really exciting. Chef has pickled green beans for us, so we have pickled green beans, which show up in the show downstairs.
Okay.
Pepperoncini and an olive.
Oh.
A big strip of bacon.
I am really excited about this. Now look how pretty that is as well. I mean, it's a drink, but I almost want to sit here and stare at it. Is that a little bit of the thought behind some of these?
Absolutely. We wanted our drinks to be visually appealing as well as tasty. This is kind of a still life in its own regard.
I'm going in. Okay,
Absolutely.
here we go. Oh, and it's got a
Spicy?
Yeah, it kind of right here gives you a little bit of a kick. Yes, I have to taste it again just to
Please,
make sure
go
that it was
ahead.
right. Very, very good. I could see someone sitting outside on a pretty day,
Absolutely.
enjoying that with
Coming in for
brunch.
Sunday brunch after a night of heavy drinking.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
That might cure it. So,
Absolutely.
all right, that's number one.
That's number one.
What do we got next? Yes, this looks amazing. This is one of those drinks I want to smell first. 'Cause you
Absolutely.
definitely smell the. Oh wow, it's really good. It's a blend between, like you said, having a drink, having dessert, or just having a little bit of coffee. Yeah. All right, Michael, we are finally outside, about to taste desserts. Talk about this little area over here.
Oh yeah, this is our wonderful balcony. It's a perfect day outside for this. Usually open it around early spring and goes through the fall. We have about 10 tables outside, and we don't take reservations for the tables, so it's a great place to walk in and enjoy. We do lunch every day, so this is a perfect lunch spot.
All right.
Right over the reflecting pond and sculpture garden.
Now, to me, I would want to have my girls here for some type of shower.
Oh yeah,
Just to have a girls' event.
yeah.
Can we rent the space out?
We have a private dining room, which is perfect for rehearsal dinners, bridal showers, baby showers. We've done it for the last 3 years, and it's perfect for groups about 20 to 35 people.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I am ready to taste some dessert.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yummy.
Okay.
Such a sunny day outside. There's some complimentary VMFA sunglasses for you too as well.
Oh, that's just swell. Thank you.
This is amazing.
Isn't it?
The customer service with this.
I know.
Okay, so talk about what we have here, Michael.
This is a homemade Twinkie, which has been in the news so much this past year. So we decided to make our own. It's stuffed with buttercream and served with a delicious lollipop lip lollipops. I think those are cherry flavored as well.
And I know that this is a restaurant, and I know we're at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, but this just looks like a piece of art that I'm not supposed to eat, you know?
This is art that you can touch.
Okay, all right, so let's dig in. You're gonna join me, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so I'm assuming I need to get a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Twinkies, strawberries.
A little buttercream.
If you love Twinkies, you will love this. This is really, really good, and it's light too.
Exactly.
I don't feel I could eat the whole thing. I shouldn't. I could eat the whole thing. All right, Michael, that was amazing. So please tell me what's next.
We have an American classic, brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts with vanilla ice cream, made here in-house. Ooh.
And another little lollipop.
One for me, one for you.
Gotcha.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
Oh!
Hey, 5-second rule.
They're hopping.
Ooh, nice and fluffy. Not like I would expect. You know what you think your average Pop-Tart would taste like.
Exactly.
This is more of a pastry. And now, what kind of ice cream is this? Is this?
Homemade vanilla ice cream.
Oh my God, just classic. All of this is very classic.
Ooh. Exactly. Americana, right?
Oh my God.
It might not be the easiest thing to eat, but it's sure delicious.
This is really, really good. And the ice cream, I mean, I would have never, growing up, you didn't eat a Pop-Tart with ice cream, you know? This is very
Well, you're
very
all
good.
grown up now.
Yeah, very, very good. Now, was it Pop-Tart because Pop Art?
Pop
Or was
Art.
it- Okay.
I was mentioning earlier, we used a few different words and phrases to kind of theme everything. Pop, and the word pop was one of them.
Yeah.
We make our own soda pop in-house, and we're serving the old vintage glass bottles whenever you order a Coke or a Diet Coke, or we even have Orange Crush on the menu.
This is really, really good.
Really good. Look, we devoured it.
Yeah, really, really good. One more, right?
One more coming up.
All right, last one. What do we have here?
Last is chocolate. A ho-ho. Made in-house, of course. Ooh. So this is, I know, doesn't it? This is our homemade ho-ho, rolled again with that famous buttercream, fresh huckleberries, and whipped cream.
Here we go. Oh, it is just, I was expecting it to be a little bit more firm, but this looks like it's about to melt in my mouth.
It really is. I think that one hit it on the money.
Wow. Wow. This is really, really good. Michael, it seems that there is a theme a little bit. I mean, we talked about with the drinks, how they went with the exhibit downstairs, but more, I guess, importantly, we went from a ho-ho to a Twinkie to a
Pop-Tart.
How is that, related?
Well, the show deals a lot with material culture and Americana and product placement. And so we wanted to kind of make our own of those classic American dishes, be it ho-hos, Pop-Tarts, or Twinkies. So that's kind of the common thread that ties that exhibit together downstairs and kind of ties together both our cocktails and our desserts up here at Amuse.
I've had an amazing experience. Thank you so much for taking the time to
Absolutely.
talk to us. If people want to come and have the same experience, how do they get in contact with you? Hours of operations, website?
Sure. Well, we'll be serving these menus throughout the summer, and we're online, of course. You can visit us at Twitter, at Amuse VMFA. Our website has all of our hours. Basically, whenever the museum's open, we're open. And so it's mostly a lunch spot. We're open every day of the year, 365 for lunch. We always do a Sunday brunch, and we have a happy hour and cocktails starting at 2:30 every day of the year, even on the weekends. So you can visit all of our menus, which change monthly, on our website, which is www.vmfa.museum/Amuse, or you can just Google Amuse at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts.
Definitely come check out Amuse. RVA Grooves, all things arts and culture. Stay tuned. RVA Grooves will return after these messages.
Experience Jazz, America's original art form at the 4th Annual Richmond Jazz Festival at Maymont, presented by Altria August 8th through the 11th. You don't want to miss Jill Scott, Michael McDonald, The Wailers, Joe Sample, Kirk Whalum, and others. The Richmond Jazz Festival presented by Altria, brought to you in part by Virginia's for Lovers, Dominion, Midwest Vaco, Richmond Region Tourism, Richmond BMW, and NBC 12. Visit jazzatmaymont.com today.
Experience the Hip, Richmond's hotspot for dining, music, and entertainment. Dive into the region's best dishes in the southeastern cuisine at the Hip's Mansion 526. Then catch a beat in the Speakeasy Lounge and relax with a signature cocktail. Or amp up your night at the Hip with a concert in our famous state-of-the-art theater. Experience the Hip for yourself at 528 North 2nd Street in historic Jackson Ward. Or log on to hippodromerichmond.com.
Today on RVA Grooves, we are in the beautiful Carytown shopping district. We are at Loose Groove Tattoo Shop. We're going to talk to owner Jesse Smith about how art and tattoo culture has mixed together. Let's go inside and catch up with Jesse. Now we're inside Loose Groove with tattoo artist and owner Jesse Smith. Jesse, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
How did you get involved with tattooing?
I started tattooing out of my house. I met this guy named Carlos who was tattooing in Newport News. He had just gotten out of prison and, he had learned how to tattoo in prison. And we used to hang out and just draw together. And, after drawing with him for a while, he eventually taught me how to make a ghetto gun and just started tattooing people. I was in the military at the time, so I had a lot of canvases who were really interested in getting tattooed by me.
The culture is growing tremendously in Richmond. First Fridays with the art walk and all of those things popping up. Talk about your experience being nationally recognized on Ink Masters, top 5, right?
Yeah, yep, top 5. Being on a TV show was very interesting. I mean, I really was, when they called me up, I was kind of debating on whether I wanted to be on the show or not, because it's kind of a scary thing to be, in front of the world, not only via your art, but also your personality. And, it was just more of just a great experience. And, it taught me a lot about where my weaknesses are as an artist and what things I need to work on. And it was a lot of fun.
Now we're in the tattoo artist studio space. Jesse, assume I was a first timer coming in for my very first tattoo. Let me know or walk me through the process.
Usually what we try to do is get everybody to go through the portfolios. We've got a very eclectic mix of artists in here. People who do different styles, do different, some do black and gray, some do color, a bunch of different stuff. So we have them go through the portfolios and pick the artists that they connect with the most. I think it's very important for you to pick the right artist. I mean, it's like going to Picasso and trying to get a Dali painting. You want to get the right artist for the right job. Once they pick their artists out, then what we do is we have them submit their idea to that artist specifically. And you can either do it online, or we usually bring out the iPad and it has a whole submission form. And what that does is that actually puts you on their waiting list. A lot of the artists here have they're booked out a substantial amount of time. So we try to keep the process slow and comfortable so that the artists aren't overworked. So they have time to focus on you as a client, your idea. Once they pick you up off of the submission form, then what you do is they'll have you come in for a consultation. They'll sit down for an hour and you talk about your idea and you tell us everything you want. And what we'll do is we'll say, okay, what's your budget looking like? How much are you trying to spend on this? And what's your idea? And if your idea happens to be, bigger than your budget, then we'll try to bring it down a little bit. Or if your budget's higher than your idea, we'll bring it up a little bit. Sometimes people want to overload their tattoos and put a lot of little teeny things in there, so we try to make it a little simpler so it's easy to read. And then after the consultation, if everything's good and you jive with your artist and everything's working out, then we set you up with an appointment and you come in and get tattooed.
So the best advice that you give is that there's time in this. Yeah. Don't just walk into a shop, get tatted, and then leave. Take your time to get this done. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And you said that there was an online process. Give us the website and let us know how that someone would go and make an appointment.
Well, you can go to loosescrewtattoo.com, and under there we've got 5 different artists, and what you do is you go through all their portfolios, figure out which artist you want, and then go to the contact section. Under the contact section, it'll say book an appointment. You click on there, there's a submission form. It'll ask you your name, your age, your email address, your idea, where you want it, how much you're trying to spend, all that. And you just fill it out, send it, and then we get back to you as soon as we can and try to book you in for a consultation.
And then once they get in here and they're nervous, what do you do to try to calm people down? Does that affect the tattoo if they're very nervous and, a little bit uneasy?
I think everybody's just a tad bit nervous. Same thing as giving blood. You think about needles and you get scared and all that stuff. But, once the ball gets rolling, it's really not that big of a deal.
How many first-timers do you see back and back and back again? People that say, I just want something small, and then within the next year, their whole sleeve is gone.
I'd say pretty much everybody. Anybody that comes in for something usually is coming back for something else within the year.
You would agree that it is addictive.
It's definitely addictive. I think it's one of those things you get that, once you get over that hump of being scared and actually having something on your body forever, you start realizing that you want more of it.
You're pretty stacked. Your wait list is pretty long. But if someone did want to get in with you, what's the time frame that they should estimate that, they'll get tatted by you?
Well, it's a very difficult question. I've got roughly about 1,500 people on a waiting list right now. But what I do, being that there's no chance I'll ever be able to tattoo all those people. So what I do is I tell people to get on there and just put your the best idea in. I usually sway towards the ideas that inspire me the most. And if somebody comes to me with a very clever idea, the chances of them getting in versus somebody who has a cliche idea is a little bit higher.
All right, Jesse, my last question to you. Someone wanted to get in contact with you. Phone number, website, address, hours of operation.
We're located in Carytown at 3313A West Cary Street. The phone number is 804-342-1981. If you're interested in going to our website, it's www.loosescrewtattoo.com. And we're open 7 days a week from noon to 8.
Jesse, I'm going to get online. I'm going to go ahead and try to submit my artwork to you, see if you accept it. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to RVA Grooves. RVA Grooves, all things arts and culture. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week. RVA Grooves, all things arts and culture.